So in 1991, I think it was, I was whining about my life to a Christian pastor friend, and he put me onto a book on happiness by Albert Ellis, which was all about rational emotive therapy, also known as cognitive behavioral therapy. And I said, yes, this is it. You learn to remove from your life irrational thinking and you replace it with more rational thinking, and therefore you tend to lead a happier life. And I read a whole bunch of books by Albert Ellis, and I even did some of the exercises, and then I moved on, and when I went to therapy, I've done over 3 years of therapy, and most of it's been psychodynamic psychotherapy, which is the type of therapy closest to analysis, which is, it's all about bonding with your therapist. So anyway, today I went in for my first session of cognitive behavioral therapy with someone who specializes in that. And it was a lot of work. I remember I used to really enjoy going to therapy because I'd just like tell stories and I'd think I was funny and outrageous, and I knew that my therapist wasn't going to judge me and say you're a big sinner or I was tasteless. And then over the past year or so it's gotten a lot harder. We've gotten down deeper into various uncomfortable emotions. But it's not nearly as hard as cognitive behavioral therapy. So after like the 10-minute introduction, I was given this exercise sheet. So the first one was, what's the activating event? What's an everyday event, situational stressor in your life? So I talked about telling a friend that my despair that life was passing me by. I seemed to spend so much time sick or exhausted that kind of feel like everyone's going on with their life and I'm getting passed by. My friend said, well, look how much you're doing. You're more than halfway through in your Alexander Technique teacher training. It's a 3-year program. Look at all your writing. And I didn't feel good about that interaction. So that was the activating event. So what were my beliefs around that event? And that was really hard for us to dig out today in our session, because I could go right to the feelings. Okay, I felt not heard or not empathized with, or didn't feel like the person was getting me. He was trying to comfort me by saying, look at all you're accomplishing, but I just wanted to share my despair. And so I felt even more despairing when my despair wasn't acknowledged. So I felt lonely, defeated, frustrated, sad, isolated, and I felt like a loser. So those are my feelings. We had a heck of a time trying to uncover my thinking that leads to those feelings. And I really couldn't do it. The therapist had to kind of, as I struggled, had to suggest some things. So I felt shut out, that I was sharing with my friend, and then he shut the door on our sharing. Then I felt alone. I felt like I was damaged goods. That felt like people don't want to get to know me, that I'll never get married. If I never marry, I'll not have lived life to the full. I'll have wasted my life, that I've blown it. It's my fault that I'm not living my life to the fullest. I fear that I caused my chronic fatigue syndrome through overwork and overstress back in 1988, that I'll never get nurtured, that I'm unworthy of being nurtured. So those are kind of the beliefs that we teased out. Then as we kind of pulled out those beliefs from me, we went to my emotions. So yeah, I was feeling lonely, defeated, frustrated, sad, isolated, and loser. So now you come to D, the dispute, the counter thought. What realistic, alternative, and rational statement can I use instead? What will I do differently? So I said to myself, my friend tried to comfort me, tried to cheer me up. In spite of all my problems, I still have a lot of advantages. I'm alone. I'm talking to somebody who cares about me. And then I started thinking about this girl that I really liked, and then I thought, well, she's not that hot, so I don't have to get that despairing about her. I could get married one day. I'm a valuable person even if I'm not married. I still live my life to the fullest of my potential. I can care about people and develop friendships and accomplishments, doing the best I can in a difficult situation. You do not know what caused my chronic fatigue syndrome. It does not make me unworthy of love, even if I brought it on myself. So when we started disputing my beliefs that had caused my sadness, suddenly felt less sad, less lonely, less defeated, less isolated, and less like a loser. But I had a heck of a time locating my beliefs, because as we'd kind of tease them out, I'd say, well, I know they're not rational. And so I'd kind of discount them, but they were still operating in my thinking and then leading to my despairing emotions, even though rationally, cognitively, I said, oh, they're not rational.